back this Thursday is Halloween, and if you're planning to take your kids door to door, you're going to want to make sure that you're staying safe. Joining me in studio with details on how to trick-or-treat safely this year is the Children's Assessment Center's Lisa Bourgoyne. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Thank you.
So first of all, do you want to tell people what is the Children's Assessment Center?
Sure. The Children's Assessment Center is a local nonprofit, private nonprofit organization. We work to coordinate investigations of child abuse, and we provide a safe and welcoming space for children and families in our community.
So what would you have to tell parents about Halloween? Is there something that they need to be concerned about with Halloween as far as safety goes?
You know, I think Halloween's such a fun time for kids.
Right.
We have a lot, yes, we can have a lot of fun with Halloween, but there are some basic safety tips to make sure that you have a fun and safe Halloween. I would start with number one, staying alert. I think that's the most important thing. We know from national organizations that children are 3 times more likely to be hit by a car on Halloween than any other day of the year. And so being vigilant, staying alert, kids are of course active, they're out, there's more pedestrians on the street, so we really want to pay attention to our surroundings. Parents, remind your kids, of course, of using the sidewalks, crossing safely, and just being aware. I think the other thing that's important in that too is dress your kids in bright colors. Make sure that they are noticeable. And if you don't have bright colors, you can always accessorize, right? Use lights. Use, kids love the glow sticks, and you can make all kinds of fun things with the glow stick necklaces, bracelets, all of that, just so that they're lit up.
So that being said, are there any costumes that you would say to avoid? Would it just strictly be like dark costumes that they'd be hard to see in?
I think when it's hard to see them at night, kids are going to want what they want for when it comes to a costume, but you can light up a costume, you can illuminate a costume, right? You want to avoid anything that a child might trip on or anything that is hard that if they did fall down, it would hurt them. So those are things I would avoid.
What about, is there anything that parents we should be doing ahead of Halloween about like figuring out like who your neighbors are and maybe what houses to avoid or anything like that?
Absolutely. I think we all want to believe that our neighborhoods are safe, but the truth is that there are sex offenders who live in our neighborhoods. The Department of Public Safety actually has an online website where you can go and just enter your address. It takes less than a minute. You put your address in and it gives you a 1.5 mile radius of any sex offender that lives in your neighborhood. Those are the homes that you want to avoid, and there's detailed information. You get the actual location, photographs of that person. Those are places that you want to avoid. So if it's not your home is not lit up, it's dark out in that home, then go to the next home. There's plenty of houses that are participating in Halloween.
Yeah, and remind people where they find that information.
It is the Sex Offender Registry, Department of Public Safety.
Okay, on the DPS website.
Yes, on the DPS website.
What should you, would you recommend maybe that we participate in other types of trick-or-treating, like the trunk or treat, the school stuff, the church activities, things like that? I think those are great alternatives. A lot of them do not happen on Halloween, but some do. So I think taking an opportunity, especially if you don't have a safe place to trick-or-treat. And for some families, they may just choose to that's the way that they celebrate Halloween. So definitely take advantage of those opportunities. Yeah, I know. I mean, in a lot of neighborhoods too, they don't have sidewalks, so that can be a challenge. Like,
right.
Means that a lot of kids parents don't want to take their kids out trick-or-treating in those neighborhoods too, or it can make it challenging. What should parents do as far as like checking candy? Is it still a concern that something could be inside of their candy? You know,
I think checking candy, when I was a child 40 years ago, my mom checked my candy, I checked my child's candy. It is still a thing. Candy safety is really important. You really want to avoid anything that is open or tampered with, anything that's homemade, because you don't know what ingredients are put into an item that's made at home. So I would avoid that. And there's still plenty of candy, right, for your kids to enjoy.
Yeah, they bring home plenty. Yes. Whether or not you throw a few pieces away, is it a big deal? What else did you want to tell me before I let you go?
I would just say if you want to learn more about the Children's Assessment Center, please take a look at our website, cachhouston.org. There are more safety tips on there. Child safety is an all-year thing, and there's great resources on our website.
All right, Lisa Bourgoyne, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you.